Have you ever asked yourself who created this universe? Why do we exist? How should we live our lives, and is there life after death? People have wrestled with these questions since the beginning of time. But where can we find answers to these questions? We believe that many of these answers are in the Holy Quran. The problem today is many people aren't reading the Quran. For one, the Quran is in classical Arabic, also known as Fusha. But not many of us know Arabic, let alone Fusha. Also, understanding the flow, context, and structure of the Quran is known by scholars, but not necessarily the average person. The goal of Project Zemzem is to give you a glimpse of how the Quran answers some of these important questions. We do this by creating short animated videos in simple English. These videos will explain the main themes, concepts, and stories of each surah or chapter in the Quran. To show you what that would look like, we wanted to share with you the story of Zemzem, and why we chose Zemzem as the name of our project. For those who don't know, Zemzem is a well in the city of Mecca in Saudi Arabia. The story of Zemzem begins about 4,000 years ago, when God instructs Abraham to take his wife Hajar and their infant son Ishmael to an empty valley in the Arabian Peninsula. Following the instructions of God, Abraham leaves them and travels back home. Soon Hajar and Ishmael run out of water. Hajar begins to panic and runs frantically between two hills, desperately searching for water. She prays to God, asking him to save her and her son. With Ishmael on the ground crying and kicking, water suddenly springs up from underneath his feet. Hajar rushes to contain the water and says Zummi, Zummi, which in her language means stop flowing, and begins building a barrier around it. Based on her very words, this well became known as the Well of Zemzem. Later, as caravans and tribes travel through the area and discover the Well of Zemzem, many of them choose to settle near the well and put up their tents to live there. Over time, this lifeless valley becomes a new home for many people, and the city of Mecca was born. The Well of Zemzem was the main source of life for this new community, and hundreds of years later this became the birthplace of Muhammad, the final messenger and prophet of God. One of the miracles of Zemzem is the promise that it will never run out of water. It will continue to be a source of life till the end of time. For Muslims around the world, and for all of humanity, the Holy Quran is a source of divine guidance on how we can live a happy and dignified life. Similar to the miracle of Zemzem being an endless source of water, one of the many miracles of the Quran is its endless source of wisdom and lessons you learn just from reading it over and over again. The goal of Project Zemzem is to help bring people closer to the Quran and encourage them to explore its beauty and wisdom even further. We believe that the Quran in many ways can provide people a sense of direction and purpose that many of us are seeking.